Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? Today we're joined by Andy from Aberdeen. How are you doing, Andy?
Good, thanks, Ross. Aye, good.
Good man, good man. Andy's part at Porky's Corner team. I don't mean to say that he's going to agree with everything that I do. So, or say, Andy, there's a lot been going up in boxing. So, what would you like to talk about?
Probably the heavyweight scene and talk about Peter Biev and the Yard fight. I don't get the time to watch all the boxing I like to watch, but I'll happily talk about the stuff I've seen lately. Eubank Smith fight. Who's that? Moses Atuma, his brother got knocked out, didn't he, on
You want to
last
start
week
off
as
with
well.
heavyweights then, Andy? Yeah.
Start off with the heavyweights, yeah.
Well, what would you want to talk about in heavyweights?
I see Big Meech has got this fight coming up with Franklin on the 1st April, but I think he's going to struggle with Franklin because Franklin's got fast hands, doesn't he? Just like Ruiz had fast hands. So he's maybe not got the power of Ruiz, but I think he's underrated. He's more skillful than Dillian White thought he was going to be, and I think for me, he clearly beat Dillian White. And got robbed in the scorecards, which was felt sorry for him. And I think the crowd made their feelings felt about that as well, didn't they? It was another loss for the can man, wasn't it? Really, but
Oh God, it's
maybe the proof's in the pudding. That's why Franklin's getting the Joshua fight and not White getting it. That could be a.
well, Joshua's got to blow that guy away, and he really to be took serious, hasn't he?
He's got it, yeah, big time.
If you don't blow him away, he's going to end up on Skid Row.
Yeah, I think he's heading that way, isn't he? He doesn't know what he's doing, does he? Can he choose a trainer or floating about over the place, isn't he? He's in a.
They're saying he's fighting this Franklin, but they haven't announced it. There's no presser yet, is there?
No, so
Notice.
no,
So
maybe
keeping the cards closest to the chest, aren't they?
yeah.
Do you feel
He signed up.
so many promoters are trying to outdo each other instead of just putting fights on?
I think so. I think for me, Eddie Hearn's been the biggest blocker in heavyweight boxing for the past 10 years. The amount of fights he's stopped, signing people up like Lee Ortiz, and then just signing people up to keep them away from Joshua to protect him, which is disappointing from a fan's point of view, isn't it?
Oh, very disappointing. What do you think to Eddie coming out yesterday saying that Billy Joe Saunders and Eubanks a bigger fight than Eubank Beefy rematch?
He's is he on tour with Billy Joe Saunders at the moment? Is that what he's?
Well, Billy's fell out with them at Sky and Ben Shalom, and so it's looking like
Oh, of course he has. Yeah,
he can't
so
work.
it looks like
He can't work with Bricktop again. So only game in towns now is Eddie Hills, the 6-0
Eddie.
and Billy Ricky 4 by way of.
That's it. And yeah, I mean he's trying to bum that fight up, isn't he? That's what he's on there. But that's probably a good fight for Eubank. I think Billy Joe Saunders he's doing a Ricky Hatton, and he's blowing up between fights, and he'll spend most of his training camp losing weight as opposed to proper training. He's a good fighter, Billy Joe Saunders, very skillful and that. But I thought Eubank beat himself in their first fight. He didn't do anything for the first 4 or 5 rounds, Eubank, and then he finished strong. But I think if he'd upped the pace earlier, he might have stopped Saunders later on. I felt in that fight, but the Saunders has been avoiding that fight for a long time, hasn't he? The rematch. No?
Well, he'll be gagging for it now, won't he?
That's it. Where else can he go? That's going to pay good money. But
yeah, where do you think Big Meech goes if he loses against Jermaine Franklin or whatever he's called?
I think he might disappear. That could be him. He can't be hungry with the amount of money he's got, can he?
No.
I mean, I liked him when he first came on the scene, but as soon as I heard him say he wanted to be the first billionaire boxer, I went right off him because that just goes against everything that I believe in. You know?
Listen, mate, he's been marketed correctly, Anthony Joshua, aka Big Meech. But like I've been pointing this out for 10 years. he ain't what it says on the tin.
No.
Personality-wise, we all know the mask slipped a few times, hasn't it? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Personality-wise, he ain't this Mr. Eat all your vegetables and you'll be big and strong like AJ. No, that's a lot of rubbish. And other thing about him is he can't phase. Simple as.
Stay humble and all that nonsense. That's his power phrase.
Oh, and it's a fight. And he be big and strong like Hulk Hogan. Remember when he said all that? Oh, you Hulkamania! Oh, you Hulkamaniacs, or whatever, Hulkamaniacs, or whatever they were called.
Then all the steroids fell out his handbag.
You know your vitamins. Call it vitamins. You know your vitamins. You're big and strong like me. I'm big pythons like me. Yeah, all right.
Aye. No, that's what it's like. I mean, if you look at the opposition that Lennox Lewis faced back in his day, I mean, who do you think Big Meech could have beat out of them? Not many.
Well, Lennox Lewis has got 14 wins over world champions, former, current, and future. What's Big Meech got? 5.
Yeah, but I mean, could you see Big Meech facing merciless Ray Mercer?
Charlie Martin and Charlie Martin's 1, Parker 2. Both are poor, aren't they? Let's have it right.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have reigned in any era.
No.
Povetkin, old man. Vladimir, were in his 42nd year, old man. Who's the other one? Ruiz. He weren't a world champion until he beat Joshua. Then Joshua got a win over him.
Yeah.
Batman. So basically, that's the Anthony Joshua CV. Utter rhubarb.
Rubbish. I remember that night before I think it was Bean that was interviewing him the night before the first Ruiz fight.
His 5 best wins, old men and people who shouldn't have had belts. Ruiz, Parker, and Charlie Martin, and Povetkin and Vladimir were old men.
That's right, yeah. He's had it handed to him on a plate, really, hasn't he?
Handed on a plate, like the Olympic medal, four wins at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Count back. And anyway, out of the 4, he only really won 1, didn't he? Well, they all other backs, they were, weren't they?
Gifts.
Hometown gifts. Manufactured. Got a bit of a story, a bit of a tearaway. Yeah, we'll get around the manufactured, mate.
Yeah.
Not real McCoy.
Not a real fighter, is he? I mean, Fury's he's a real fighter. He can do it all. And
Tyson, train for him, would he?
No, I mean Tyson Fury would just stand him on his head, wouldn't he? He'd just play with him.
Look at Tyson's. Vladimir were an old man. He look at the end, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Saying's limited. Who else is there? Steve Cunningham, life and death, blown up cruiserweight. You can pick holes in both the CVs, can't you?
That's right. I think Tyson needs to fight. He needs to fight. But all this retirement nonsense. He needs to fight a good number of fighters. I mean, you hear his old man saying he's an all-time great, but no, I honestly think he would do well in any era.
The opponents are not there for Tyson, to be fair. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, you can look.
He's back at 4 with everybody, isn't he?
It's a weak division. There's no big challenge for him. I think Joe Joyce is a man I would pick to give him a decent challenge. I would think. I like Joe Joyce. He's been matched tough from day one, hasn't he?
Joe Joyce and Usyk.
That's the 2 best at the moment. The best opponents.
Who else is and Joshua? And look at the state of him at the moment. Look at him. He's a mess.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing, does he?
Hey.
He needs to pull his head out his backside, Joshua, and he needs to go back to McCracken because McCracken knew him inside out. He needs to get rid of all the hangers on as well. All this big entourage with matching tracksuits.
Under McCracken.
Sorry, I missed that.
You think you were punching better under McCracken?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's like he's gun shy now, isn't it? He's since the Ruiz fight, I felt he's been gun shy. I mean. And after Vladimir could have finished him there, I feel. But I don't know, he held back. Maybe just too old, too long away from him.
Out of 13 pay-per-views, he's got 5 wins over world champions.
Yeah, it's an absolute nonsense, that amount of pay-per-views, isn't it? It's just...
How many lost, and who were other 6? your Eric Molinas, your Dylan Whites, your
Gary Cornish.
pool lefts. No, Gary Cornish won't pay for it. Your pool lefts.
Was that not pay per view? That was an earlier fight, wasn't it?
That other one, Dominic Brazil, remember him?
Yeah, I mean,
He was going to tip
Wilder,
down, wasn't
Wilder showed how good he was, didn't he? I think that actually, when Wilder ironed him out and around, that was just before the Ruiz fight, wasn't it? And that kind of opened his eyes a bit, wasn't it? I felt,
he? Down like cheddar cheese, didn't he?
oh, brutal, wasn't it? And I remember being interviewing Big Meech the night before the first Ruiz fight, and he says, "Have you got a message for the fans, Anthony?" And he says, "Oh, don't worry, guys, I won't keep you up late." And I thought he's completely underestimated Ruiz, who might not look much, but he can fight, and he's got fast hands, and he struggles with people with fast hands, I feel.
Thought they had another. They thought they had another pudding, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what it was. I thought it was a knockover, didn't he?
What about when he grabbed microphone after the Povetkin fight and said, "UK's where it's at," and had a journey over that next thing is on a plane to New York for double your money against Ruiz, filling opponent for another fat man that what were he called?
Oh, Jarrell Miller, was it? Baby Miller.
And then Ruiz flattens him, cuts him down like a deck chair, folds him like a deck chair, should I say. It's still about the UK fans, goes to Saudi.
That's
Comes back for one fight at Tottenham, gets schooled, goes back to Saudi, but it's about UK fans. Now they want us to buy into a rebuild job where we need
anywhere but the UK.
He needs a warm up for Can Man.
Yeah.
My God.
It's a nonsense.
What planet are these people on? Anyway, moving on from Big Meech, Fury Usyk, does it happen? I mean, it looks to me like Tyson Sterling, doesn't it?
I think it will happen. I think it just seems to be dragging a bit. Is it the location they're on at the moment? But if he doesn't fight Usyk, he's going to have to fight Joyce, isn't it? Because that's what he said.
Yeah.
He's to be fair, he's the only one calling Joe Joyce out. No, nobody else is dare mention his name, do they?
Tyson short work of Joe Joyce. I've seen Tyson spar Joe Joyce when he was 28 stone. Stood in mid ring and he stood Joe Joyce on his head. Yeah, Joyce might have improved since then.
Yeah.
He was ready. I think he'd had one fight then, or he were ready for his first fight. But
right. I think Joe Joyce is deceiving. I think he fights to the level of his opposition. The better the opposition.
I don't think Tyson would have a problem. I think he just pepper him all night and tie him up. People underestimate what movement does in boxing. It's everything movement. He don't get clipped, does he? And if
he's going to have to keep up.
Gets up.
Yeah.
He's a monster of a man, honestly. And look how who can you see licking him now? Probably equal in everything, but size.
Just not big enough, is he? But he is. He's got an incredible endurance. You say when you see some of his training.
And he's at the top of his game now, and he can do what he wants, say what he wants, command what he wants, and they should embrace him.
Yeah, should enjoy him while he's here. Enjoy him while he's here, because he'll be here forever.
Beat him is probably age catching up with him and him getting bored or something. Or
yeah,
I don't think he'll let promoters pull wool over his eyes or anything. He's just in too much of a strong position.
Yeah, and once if they unify the belts, he can just throw all the belts away and fight who he wants, can't he?
Well, you'd say he's complete fighter, wouldn't you? Now as an heavyweight.
Yeah.
He would.
He can do it all, can't he? He can do it all. I think he would give any champion in history trouble. I'm not saying he would beat everybody in history, but he would give everybody trouble. There's no doubt about that.
He's good at everything, Tyson, even lying.
He likes playing the media game, doesn't he? He just likes winding people up.
Got that media game off to a T. You've got to take they're very shrewd, aren't they? Him and his old man.
Big John.
He's doing right now, then, because he looks to me like he's out in cold at the moment, doesn't he, Andy?
Nah, he's done. Has he fallen out with Eddie Hill?
Well, I don't know, but if he wants to get back in mix, he's got to fight one of the fringe contenders, and it's not going to be a mega dough fight for him, is it?
And what's he trying to shout about Francis Ngannou?
Who would you say is a fringe contender for Dylan White in heavyweight division? Andy Ruiz, Joe Joyce.
He's not going to go in with Joe Joyce, is he?
Andy
Joe,
Ruiz and Wilder dust him. So does Joe Joyce.
so
So
does
where
Joe
does
Joyce.
Dylan White go? He needs Eddie Hearn more than ever. So he should
And I
be
think
nice to Eddie.
he should be. I think Parker will beat him as well in a rematch. Parker,
When you're on
the
your way
first.
up, Andy, when you're on your way up, you should be nice to people.
That's right, because you see them all on the way back down.
Well, he's not way down now, and he didn't get to the top of mountain, did he? He nearly did, but he didn't get to the top of mountain. But he's dined at the top table financially, so does he care? So he'll
Does
just
he?
pimp his son out now for an MMA fight with Dana White or whatever.
Was there no mention of Parker fighting him again? But
Who want to see that, or who want to see?
nah.
Would you put it past them putting Del Boy and Dylan in together?
No, yeah, probably they'll do it again. They'll
How could they sell that Del Boy with 13 losses and Dylan with God knows how many? How could they sell
corned beef,
pay-per-view corned beef?
corned beef, spam,
Fucking lunch and meat.
spam with garlic,
Oh, oh my
spam.
God.
It's
What?
Chisora's got a lot of. Chisora's got a lot of losses, but so did Johnny Nelson, didn't he? He had a lot. He had about 12 defeats, didn't he? Johnny Nelson,
13, Johnny.
13 defeats.
Yeah, but
He lost a lot.
go on. You were in a division nobody cared about, wasn't
Yeah, he lost a lot of fights early doors, didn't he? Early on in his career, didn't he? He was
he? Yeah.
fighting it. He was quite boring though at times, wasn't he? I don't know why he got the name the Entertainer. That was a piss take, mate. Was it?
It was. What do you think about the board's role in this Conor Ben situation and Eddie Hearn and all this cloak and dagger,
Shambles.
270-page dossiers and all this?
Nah.
What's your take on it?
Has anybody seen this 270-page doc? Has anybody actually seen it to be able to analyse it?
What they're doing, they're drowning out the prosecution, aren't they? For the prosecuting, they're drowning them out as if to say you need to go spend a lot of money to take us on.
Yeah, I mean the board should be stepping up to the plate and saying he should be getting banned. I think if he's failed 2 drug tests and all this contamination with eggs, that's just a nonsense, isn't it?
What I want to know, Andy, is this: how much money have DAZN and Matchroom got invested in Conor Ben now? Because they don't want to let go here. But if they come
that's right,
a year ban, and that's only up to April, a year ban.
Yeah.
So it's only 2 months away from his last fight. That's a year. So why don't they just come clean, take a year, and let's move on instead of all this trying to drown it out and drag sport through the mud?
It's not doing any good, is it? It's not doing anything any good.
They must have a lot of money tied up in him, or they must have no other big stars coming through because Conor Ben's a welterweight, but he don't want to fight the best 2 welterweights in the world or the best. Well, he don't want to fight any at top 15, does he? Really?
Didn't he want to fight Avernician, did he? I thought that would have been a good fight.
Swerved him. Don't want to fight the 2 champions or the Enos, and there's loads that'll just run over him and just put hands on him, as Terry Chapman says. People asking me for Terry's pod. It's the Beautiful Boxing Podcast. Okie doke. The Beautiful Boxing Podcast. Get behind him.
He's a good man, Terry.
He trains fighters and he's a pundit for commentator for Fight Zone for Dennis Hobson. So get behind him.
He talks well.
Very good, very, very brainy guy. But getting back to that, what do you think then?
I think the board is an actual shambles at the moment. They need somebody like Simon Jordan. He's planning on doing something, isn't he? But he's not come out and said what it was. But I'd like to see
a breakaway organisation or something. And if Simon Jordan's behind it, there's integrity, isn't there?
Yeah. He speaks from the heart and he tells the truth, doesn't he? And he's not scared to ask any questions about anything.
So much of this has been going on for years. Do you think, right, if Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua failed a drug test, do you think they're going to come out and go, yeah, we're guilty? Has anybody ever come out and gone, yeah, I'm guilty? No. But do you think that their promoters would allow them to ban them, to be court orders and that, because there's that much money at stake here? Millions of pounds at stake.
That's when it becomes corrupt, isn't it? It's just money talks. It just becomes seedy, doesn't it? It's just wrong. If somebody's guilty, they're guilty, and they should do the crime, do the time, innit? So I
Yeah,
think that's what she.
yeah, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. What do you think about the Source leaving Johnny Bravo?
This, the
Lawrence Coley, the Source.
Lawrence Coley. He's left Johnny Bravo now. He's
Yeah, he's with Sugar Hill, the Source and the Sugar.
right. Oh, I think that would improve his game going with Sugar Hill. If he can make him more aggressive, he's going to be a lot less boring to watch, isn't he?
The Source and the Sugar Hill thumbnail for this video.
I could do that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll sort that one out, Andy.
We'll sort that out.
Well, where do you think the Source is heading? Do you think he's going to end up in heavyweight?
I think so. Maybe in the next 2 or 3 fights, I could see him at heavyweight. He'll maybe defend his cruiserweight title again, maybe once or twice. He's got the height to be heavyweight, hasn't he? He's a tall guy.
Yeah, yeah, and do you know what? He surprised a lot of people. If he ends up with that Kronk style, I mean, they're all coming out with "Go to Sugar Hill, he's the best." The New York Glow.
I do like Sugar Hill. I think he's probably one of my favourite trainers. I would say he's quite jovial, isn't he? And he doesn't give nothing away in interviews and that. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Is it an American invasion, Andy?
Maybe to an extent. Lennox Lewis had his uncle, didn't he?
Hey,
Lennox Lewis had his uncle, didn't he?
His uncle.
Manny Stewart.
I didn't know that was his uncle.
Manny Stewart, yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, no, but I know Manny Stewart. But he had Pepe career before him.
I didn't really rate him as much.
No, but he got sacked. But getting on to Sugar Hill, they're all wanting to go to him or Derek James or Roy Jones or
Right, I think Roy Jones has messed up Eubank's style. I think Eubank's
Buddy McGirt. Gee, what he can do, I don't know. Buddy,
he's not a lot.
50% McGirt.
He's not had a lot of success, has he? At top level, but as a trainer, I don't think, has he?
He had Gatti, didn't he? But he got Gatti at back end of career, didn't he?
Yeah.
Let's see Buddy McGirt do something with somebody from debut.
Yeah, that's what you want. I quite like Shane McGuigan, though. I think he's one for the future, isn't he? I think he talks well and whatnot, but
yeah, he comes across
we'll see.
Shane McGuigan.
He's quite likeable, isn't he?
He's got a good stable, but there's no substitute, is there, for experience?
That's right.
For example, you wouldn't let somebody respray a Ferrari, would you? It's had a smash, respray the side of it. If he'd only been in game 3 or 4 years, would you?
No, that's right.
No. About 45-year-old who's been doing it since he left school, wouldn't you?
That's it.
Panel beater, not just a body shop lad, a proper Olders lot. You want panel beater, body shop, paint. You want a proper expert on it.
Proper reputation behind them.
Yeah, so you want someone that's learned his craft and been around, 25 years as a trainer,
yeah,
not, an handful of years kind of thing. I know he's been around all his life, and his dad's in Hall of Fame, and his dad were pound for pound and all that, and a superstar. But so were Manny Stewart as a trainer. But it don't mean to say that everybody who are underneath Manny Stewart's going to be a great trainer, does it?
Yeah. I think Josh Taylor should have stayed with McGuigan. He did better with McGuigan than he did with Boxer-Size Ben, didn't he?
Yeah. McGuigan, Catterall Taylor's off, isn't it?
Has it been? Has he got a foot injury or something, Taylor? Did I read that? Is that right? Or he claims still a foot injury.
It's off, isn't it? I mean, you couldn't put your hat on any of these, could you?
No, I mean, that was another robbery, wasn't it? I mean, I'm a Taylor fan, but he got well beat, didn't he?
Imagine buying a ticket for that, Andy.
I would actually go and see that because it's relatively local for me to go down to Glasgow as opposed to heading down south. I've been over the years. I've been to a few fights in Glasgow. Well, Mike Tyson, Lou Savarese. It was quite a decent card, though. If I remember, it was about 12 fights I think we watched at that at Hampden. Robin Reid was fighting Silvio Branco, and it was a British cruiserweight fight with Bruce Scott. I can't remember who he was fighting. Zab Judah was fighting.
Robin got beat, didn't he,
Jun-
that night against
Junior.
Glasgow, didn't
He got beat on points, I think. Yeah,
he? WBC.
that was at light heavyweight, I think, wasn't it? That fight.
Super middle.
Was it super middle? I thought he'd stepped up for that fight. I might be wrong. Zab Judah he beat Junior Witter on points.
Hey?
Zab Judah beat Junior Witter on points. I think Witter gave a good account of himself in that fight, though, from what I remember.
Junior Witter, yeah, he fought Zab Judah. Mike Tyson fought Lou Zavarese, didn't he?
That's right, and then he hit the ref and everything, didn't he? Lost the plot. Sorry?
His head went.
His head went. I think it was gone before he came into the ring. He was completely raging, wasn't he? And so I've been to see that. I went to see Scott Harrison a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times actually, in Glasgow, and went to see Joe Calzaghe fighting that Ingleson. It wasn't one of his best fights, but it was good to go and see him.
Yeah, well, what was Joe Calzaghe fighting?
He was fighting was it an Egyptian guy, if I remember, Ingleton, which is just outside Edinburgh.
Yeah, Robin Reed fought Branco for WBU, not WBC, WBU.
WBU, yeah.
Well, super middle though, but yeah, Joe Calzaghe had a good career, didn't he? But it's the fights he didn't have in it, really. When you look at his team, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was kind of held back in some respects by maybe Bricktop held him back, maybe protected him a bit too much earlier on, didn't he?
Well, they did with that Glenn Johnson fight. He pulled out 3 times.
Nah, his win against Lacey was a decent win. Because Lacey was.
Yeah, that was a good win. He had to pay 100
That was a
grand
good
to
one.
Glenn Johnson, 100 bags.
Did he? Yeah. Jeez.
They had it in contract for the third one, and he pulled out again.
All right.
So,
was he usually injured? He was claimed to be injury prone, didn't he? Bad hands,
yeah,
whatnot. But
he had an injury problem, and an all problem. It kept opening up.
I liked his old man. It was
kept opening and shutting every time there were a 50-50
I liked his old man. He was a character, wasn't he? Old Enzo. I liked him. He came across as being a hard man, didn't he? He didn't take no shit, didn't he? He was.
You've got to be, aren't you? Because if not, liberties won't they in boxing?
That's it.
Liberties, mate, like you could never imagine.
Your man Froch had a good career as well, though. I liked him. I was a big fan of Froch.
He had a better career than Calzaghe. He tested himself more, didn't he?
Yeah, he went right up against it, didn't he? Plus he went to other people's back gardens to fight as well, which I admire.
The legend.
Going on the road.
Legend.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, you Calzaghe fans?
I did like Calzaghe, but
you didn't what?
I do like Calzaghe, but there is. I mean, he's got an unbeaten record, but there was a few other fights. If he'd had these other fights and maybe got up to 50-0, if he'd managed to do that, it would have been more impressive. Resume.
I mean, there's many fighters in history that have had padded records.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And just not fighting anybody's. Wilder were padded to death, wasn't it, before he won the title? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even Marciano, if you go way back, I mean,
on a month.
What? That's it. And
Joe Louis.
Joe Louis, bum of the month. He like 2-ton Tony Galento and people like that. He was like the butterbean of his day. But he dropped Joe Louis, didn't he?
Butterbean, the bean of his day.
Butterbean.
But listen, it's been a pleasure. Hope you're well.
Yeah.
All the best, you and your family, and wrap up there in Aberdeen, lad.
Yeah, it's cold tonight. It's definitely.
See you, mate.
Okay, Russ.
Cheers, mate.
You take care.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
We're sponsored by Spartan Site Solutions. They are specialists in civil engineering and demolition contracts for the construction industry. Interested parties should visit their website or contact Porky's Corner for a referral at porkycorner@mail.com.